Good morning, students. I, Professor Rajeshwari Sharma here, and today we are going to start with our second unit under the subject Business Economics 1, and our second unit is Theory of Consumption. Under that unit, today we are going to start with our first chapter, that is Demand Analysis. Under this chapter, we are going to understand the concept of demand, the determinants of demand, law of demand, its assumptions and exceptions, then the changes in demand, and the various reasons because of which demand curve slopes downward. So today we will start with the concept of demand. Before understanding the concept of demand, first of all we need to understand what is demand. So for understanding the demand, we need to understand certain terms like desire, want, demand, etc. If I am going to ask you a question that desire, want and demand, are these three terms same? So what will be your answer? The answer should be no. Demand equals to desire equals to want equals to demand is wrong. Desire equals to want equals to demand is a wrong statement, because all these three terms are different when we talk about the economics. See, we will understand this with the help of some examples. So, what's desire? Desire is mere wish to have something. See, I said mere wish to have something. I'm not saying that you need to have money for fulfilling that wish in case of desire. For example, I want a car, that too Rolls Royce or Bugatti. So, this is my desire. Why it's my desire? Because I have wish to have those cars. I don't have money to purchase those cars. Then desire is mere wish to have something. When I talk about the want, what is want? See, you are having the wish, and along with the wish, you are having money to buy that particular commodity. Then it becomes want. Still it becomes want only. It is still not demand. For example, as I've told you that I want a car. Now I have won the lottery and I have money to buy the car. So it has become want. Still it has not become the demand. Why? Because if I have the money, so I can think that instead of buying car, I do have some more important needs to fulfill, like I can invest my money somewhere else from where I can get return, or I can buy a house with that money available. I can invest it in property, etc, etc. So when I wish to have something and I have money to buy that particular commodity, but I do not want to spend that money. I'm not willing to spend that money for buying that particular commodity, so it remains want only. But when I wish to have something, I have money to buy that particular thing, and I'm willing to spend that money for buying that particular thing. As we are taking the example of car, so suppose I wish to have the car, okay? I have won the lottery, so I have the money as well to buy that particular car, and then I am ready to pay that money for having that car, for buying that car. Then it constitutes the demand. So demand is desire plus ability to pay plus willingness to pay. For constituting a demand, we need to have the three elements. That is, desire means wish to have something. Then ability to pay means we should have the purchasing power. We should have the money to buy that particular commodity, means there should be the want. And then we should have the willingness to pay, means we should be ready to spend the money for buying that particular commodity. So demand is the desire backed by the purchasing power, that is ability to pay and willingness to pay. I hope now the concept of demand is clear to you. Now we will see the definition of demand given by Benham. See what it says. In his definition, he says the demand for anything at a given price is amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that So we will understand it with the help of an example. If I say in India, demand for smartphone is 80,000. So is this statement giving correct estimation about demand? No. Why? Because when we talk about the smartphone, so there are many price ranges in which the smartphones are available. There are various qualities and various companies which offers the smartphone in the market at various price ranges. So I'm here talking only about the units of cell phone. I'm not talking about the price level. Then I say that in India, demand for smartphone is 80,000, having worth of rupees 10,000. So now I'm saying that in India, demand for smartphone is 80,000 units, having worth of rupees 10,000. So now is the statement giving correct estimation about demand? No. This statement is not giving still not giving the correct estimation about demand. Why? Because here we are talking about the units demanded, we are talking about the price ranges of smartphone for which the demand is being made, but we are not talking about the time period in which demand for the particular product is being met. Now I say in year 2019 in India, demand for smartphone is 80,000 units, having worth of rupees 10,000. So now is this statement correct? Is the statement giving correct estimation about demand of a particular product? So yes, because this statement consists of three important factors, that is the time period, the units of commodity, and the price of commodity. So according to Benham, the demand for anything at a given price is amount of it which will be bought per unit of time at that price. So for defining the demand for a particular product, we need to have the three elements, that is the time period, the number of units, and the price at which it's being demanded in the market. So I hope you have understood this definition. Now we will be moving towards the factors affecting demand, or we may call it as determinants of demand. So first one is price over here. See, when I talk about the price, so price is having inverse relationship with demand. When the price for a particular commodity increases, so the demand for that commodity decreases. For example, see, when you want to do the shopping for the Diwali, or when you want to do shopping for any occasion, so what do you look for? What do you look after? You see whether there is some sale available, whether the discounts are being given on the certain products that you want to buy. You see all this. It means the demand is determined by demand for the particular commodity is also determined by the price of a commodity. When the price of the particular commodity is low, so the demand for that particular commodity is high. And when the price of the commodity increases, so the demand for that particular commodity goes down. For example, you must have seen at your home, like nowadays the prices of the of onion and the tomatoes are increasing day by day. So what we used to do at our homes, or what our mother used to do at our homes, she buys the less quantity of the onions and the tomatoes as compared to the earlier time periods, right? So from this it's clear that the price of the commodity is very crucial, and when the price of commodity increases, so the demand decreases, and vice versa. Therefore we say that there is inverse relationship between the price and the demand. Next one is income of a consumer. See, for example, my salary is rupees 10,000 today. But if as Diwali is coming and I get the additional bonus of rupees 10,000 from my organization, so what will I do? I will increase my demand for the particular commodity that I am going to buy, like the clothes, the food items, and the footwears, etc. Right? So when the income of the consumer rises, so the demand for the particular commodity that the consumer wants to buy also rises. So income is also one of the crucial factors that determines the demand. Means there is a direct relationship between the income and the demand. When the income increases, so demand also increases, and when the income for the particular consumer decreases, so the demand of the consumer also decreases. But when we are talking about the income, so there is an exception to the income, like inferior goods. Inferior goods are those goods which are of low quality. Now the inferior goods are goods are not inferior by default. It again depends on the income of consumer. For example, for me, the Swift is one of Swift, the car, is one of the product having the snob appeal, a sign of richness. But if I talk about the entrepreneurs like Ratan Tata sir and Ambani, so for them, this Swift is inferior commodity, inferior good. So the quality of inferior goods means low quality of product, and it against the inferiority of commodity against depends on the income of a consumer. So when the income of a consumer increases, so what do? They go for buying those goods and services which are having the good quality, which are having the good quality, which are having the snob appeal in the market. So because of which the goods that they were buying earlier, which were of low quality, demand for those goods will decline in the market. Therefore, inferior good is one of the exception to the income. Then third one is price of related goods. When we talk about the price of related goods, so it is of two types. One is complementary goods, another is supplementary goods. Now, when we talk about the complementary goods, so complementary goods are those goods which are consumed together, like we have the car and petrol, like we have the pen and ink, we have the tea and sugar. Tell me one thing, if you have pen but you don't have ink, so can you use that pen? Of course not. So pen and ink are the complementary goods. Now we will see how the prices of complementary goods affects the demand. See, if the prices of my original good is pen and my complementary good is ink. Now the demand for pen in the market is 10 units and the price of ink is 20 units. Now the price of pen per unit remains the same, that is 10 rupees, but the price of ink increases from 20 to 25 rupees. So what will happen? As the price of ink is increasing and without ink we cannot use the pen, so the price of pen, so the demand for the pen will decrease in the market. Which means if the prices of complementary goods increases, so the quantity demanded of original goods declines, right? So in this way there is inverse relationship between the prices of a complementary goods and the quantity demanded of original goods. Now we have the supplementary goods. Now what is supplementary goods? Supplementary goods are also called as competing goods. They are alternative to each other. For this we have the example of tea and coffee, we have the example of Pepsi and Coke, etc. You tell me one thing, you will either take tea or coffee as a refreshment. You're not going to have both the products together, right? Both the things together. Therefore, they are known as supplementary goods and they are alternative to each other. For example, if the price of tea is, my original good is tea over here and my supplementary good is coffee. Now the price of tea is 10 and the price of coffee is also 10. Now assume that price of coffee declines to rupees 7 from rupees 10. So what will happen? Here, when the price of coffee will decline, so the consumers who were earlier having the tea will move towards having the coffee, because of which the demand for tea will decline in the market. So when we are talking about the supplementary goods, so it also affects the demand. When the price of the supplementary good declines, so the demand for the original goods also declines. So therefore there is direct relationship between the price of supplementary good and the demand of original good. Next one is test and preferences. Today if I give you an option, either buy a scooter or buy the bullet, what will you go for? Bullet. Why? Because it is trending. Today if I give you the example, buy a feature phone having the price of rupees 1500 or go for the smartphone. What will you prefer? Of course, smartphone. Why? Again, it's trending. If I'll give you the option, go for the Luna or go for the moped or the scooty. What will like Activa 5G or Zest 110, etc. So what will you prefer? You will prefer the scooties. Why? Because it's trending. It's in fashion. So test and preferences is also one of the factor determining the demands for product in the market. Those products which are in fashion, which are in trend, commands higher demand, and those products which are not in fashion, which are not in trend, commands lower demand in the markets. So test and preferences are also one of the important factors affecting the demand for commodity in the market. Next one is consumer expectation. Take the example of this marker. My friend comes and tell me that tomorrow the price of this marker will decline in the market, and I am supposed to go to buy this marker today in the market, but he comes and tell me that the price of this marker will decline tomorrow. So what will I do? I will think, अरे यार कल तो इसका प्राइस कम होने ही वाला है, तो I will go to the market tomorrow and buy it tomorrow. So what I have done? Due to the expectation of lowering prices, I have postponed my demand. So in this way, the consumer expectations about prices are also having effect on the demand of the certain products in the market. The next one is growth of population. See, if the population in the particular economy will grow, if the population in a particular economy will increase, so of course there will be the increase in demand for everything, that is food item, clothes, and all those things which are required for the survival. So when there is the growth of population in particular economy, so there will be increase in demand for the products, and when there is going to be the decline in the population in a particular economy, so there will be the decline in the demand. Now, next one is composition of population. What is composition of population? Composition of population means the features of population living in a particular area, like the age of population, the gender of population, the income of the population living in a particular economy or area. If the most of the portion of the population consists of the children, so the demand for the toys will increase in the economy. If most of the population consists of most of the people consist of the women in my total population, so the demand for the beauty products, beauty article, makeup article, and women wears will increase, right? If the major chunk of population consists of oldies in my population, so the demand for hospitals, medicines, pharmaceutical products, etc. will increase in the economy. So the composition of population is also one of the important factors determining the demands of commodities and services in the economy. Next one is weather condition. See, if you are going to see in the market, so at the time of summer, the demand for the t-shirts and the clothes that is being worn in the summer is high, and if you are going to see, so in the winter the demand for the jerkins, sweaters, shawls, etc. are high, and in the demand and in rainy season the demand for the raincoats and umbrellas are high. So weather conditions also affects the demand. Demand for the particular product changes according to the weather conditions. The next one is tax rate. See, when the taxes are being levied on certain commodity, so the price of that commodity increases, and when the tax tax rate for the particular commodity decreases, so the price of that commodity also decreases. For this, I would like to give you an example. Like nowadays, we were hearing about the trade war between the America and the China. So what were happening in that trade war? In that trade war, in order to reduce the demand for the product of another country, the countries were levying higher import duties, that is taxes, on each other product, so that the price of product will increase and the demand for that particular product will decrease in their economy. So that is what which was happening in the trade war. So when the tax is levied on the particular commodity, so the demand for that so the price of that particular commodity increases, and because of which the demand for that particular commodity reduces, because there is inverse relationship between the price and the demand. So tax rate is also one of the crucial factor determining the demand for the products and the services in the economy. So today we have seen the concepts of demand, the definition of demand, and factors affecting demand. I hope you have understood this. So keep studying, stay safe. Thank you.